Hi students, welcome to the online session by Maharashtra Education Society's English Medium School and Junior College Shirwar. This session is of English language. The topic that we are going to see today, that is 1.1, An Astrologer's Day, written by R.K. Narayan. So let's start the topic with the author's information. R.K. Narayan is a well-known Indian writer. He is a novelist, that means he has written many novels. He has contributed in English literature in many ways. He has written 14 novels, 5 volumes of short stories, a number of travelogues. A travelogue means details of a travel. He has traveled across India. He visited many places and he has written those experiences. He has a collection of non-fiction literature also. He has written his memoir, that means an autobiography, My Days in 1975. Narayan is very famous for his creation of one imaginary village, a town which is known as Malgudi. This particular town is very famous because a television serial was produced based on the stories which were written by the writer Malgudi Days. Malgudi was a place where typical Indian setting was introduced. Unpredicted events were beautifully explained. His stories are grounded in compassionate humanism, compassionate, sympathetic, love and affection for one another, and celebrated the humor and energy of ordinary life. His stories are characterized by a simple style and subtle humor. Subtle, that means easily understood humor. By reading itself, you are going to understand and you are going to enjoy. Narayan was introduced to American literature readers in 1952 by the Michigan State University Press. Many books were introduced in America. For example, Swami and Friends, The Bachelor of Arts, The Dark Room, An Astrologer's Day and Other Stories, Mr. Sampath, The Financial Expert, Waiting for the Mahatma, The Guide. The Guide, novel written by Narayan, was so skillfully written that this particular book got him the Sahitya Academy Award in 1961. This award is most coveted, highly popular in Indian literature. His writing is definitely beautiful, unique. Simplicity is a core point of his writing. Narayan typically portrays the peculiarities of human relationship. His style is graceful, marked by genial humor, that is friendly and cheerful humor, elegance, that is beauty, and simplicity. Such a great writer. We are very fortunate that one topic written by him, we are going to study. So let's go to the topic itself. An astrologer's day. Kindly pay attention. Punctually at midday, he opened his bag and spread out his professional equipments. The writer is talking about one person. That person, by profession, is an astrologer. An astrologer is normally going to tell us our fortune, our future. An astrologer is going to give us advice. So obviously, the main character in this story is an astrologer. So, as usual, daily, punctually, at which time? At midday, that is at noon, he opened his bag at a particular place, spread out his professional equipments, which which consisted of a dozen cowrie shells. Cowrie shells, a sea animal, you can observe in the picture, a square piece of cloth with obscure mystic charts on it, a cloth normally used for magic, obscure, that is difficult to understand. Sketches were drawn, and mystic, that is supernatural. A notebook and a bundle of palmyre writing. This is one example of palmyre, that is the wooden skin or the leaves were used for writing. So that the astrologer, the main character in the story, at his own at his particular place at midday opened his professional equipments, and obviously he was searching for the customer. His forehead was resplendent. Resplendent, that means shining brightly with sacred ash and vermilion. Sacred ash, normally in our religion, in Hinduism, the forehead is colored by ash and vermilion. That is, in Marathi, we do call it kunku. His eyes sparkled with a sharp abnormal gleam, which was really an outcome of a continual searching look for customers. His look was very keen, sharp. There was a gleam in his eyes. But actually, this particular gleam was prophetic light and felt comforted. His customers used to feel very comforted. The power of his eyes was considerably enhanced, that means increased, by their position, placed as they were between the painted forehead and the dark whiskers. Whiskers, that means mustache, which streamed down his cheeks. Even a half-wit eyes would sparkle in such setting. To crown the effect, he wound a saffron-colored turban around his head. Because of this particular attire, people used to attract towards him. This color scheme never failed. People were attracted to him as bees are attracted to cosmos, a type of flower, or dahlia, again a type of Michigan flower. So normally bees are going to attract towards the flower. Same way people used to attract towards the astrologer. He sat under the bough of a spreading tamarind tree. We are very well known about this particular tree, which flanked a path running through the town hall park. It was a remarkable place in many ways. So, this paragraph is telling us information that at noon, the main character in the story came to the spot where he usually is going to come and trade. He opened his equipments. There were cowries, obscure mystic charts. Palmaya writing was there. His look was very attractive. Pay attention to the new words. Jot down these new words in your notebook properly. Where the astrologer was sitting, there always a crowd used to gather. Crowd was always moving up and down this narrow road from morning till night. A variety of trades and occupations was represented all along its way. Medicine sellers, sellers of stolen hardware and junk, magicians, and above all, an auctioneer of cheap clothes. An auctioneer means a person who conduct events of selling goods, who created enough din all day to attract the whole town. These all people used to make noise. Normally, we are well known about the market noise. People are going to attract the customer. Normally, the shop sellers are going to create noise. So, same way at that place also, people used to create noise. They used to call the customers. Next to the astrologer, in vociferousness, that is being loud and noisy, came a vendor, that is a seller of fried groundnut, who gave his wave a fancy name each day. That means every day he used to name his dish, calling it Bombay ice cream one day, and on the next Delhi almond, and on the third Raja's delicacy, and so on and so forth. And people flocked to him. Flocked, that means gathered around him to eat his groundnuts. A considerable portion of this crowd dallied before the astrologer too. Dallied, that means they used to come to the astrologer, they used to hang around the astrologer, they used to observe him. The astrologer transacted his business by the light of a flare which crackled and smoked up above the groundnut heap nearby. So there was a source of light whenever the dark is going to come, whenever the twilight is going to come. That light source was the the ground the groundnut seller used to burn the stove, and that was a source of light for the astrologer. But this particular dim light was very effective. Half the enchantment, that is magical effect of the place was due to the fact that it did not have the benefit of municipal lightning. So there were not no lamp of municipality. The place was lit up by shop lights. One or two had hissing glass lights, for example, this. The hissing lamp. It is the fuel is gas, so obviously when it is going to burn, it used to create hissing sound. Some had naked flames stuck on poles. Some were lit up by old cycle lamps. This is one example of cycle lamp. So people, that is the old time. In those days, electricity was not available, well, rarely available. So people used to use such type of equipments, and one or two, like the astrologer, managed without lights of their own. It was a bewildering crisscross of light rays and moving shadows. Confusing. This suited the astrologer very well because such type of atmosphere was very good for the astrologer. People used to come to him because of dim light. He used to create and narrate the events beautifully, properly. For the simple reason that he had not in the least intended to be an astrologer when he began the life. He knew no more of what was going to happen to others than he knew what was going to happen to himself next. Actually, he don't wanted to be astrologer, but life and some turning points are going to come. Therefore, for living, he chosen this particular profession. He was as much a stranger to the stars as were his innocent customers. So obviously because of this he was not well known to the stars.